All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the first round of the four-race playoff here with the Area 51 Super Speedway Xfinity Series at Daytona International Speedway. As always, scheduled distance 75 laps, and of course, one fast pair available to the drivers and 3 attempts, if needed, of a green-white checkered finish. So, of course, the question is going to be in that final four, who are going to be our top 8 drivers? Let's pull up that info right now as drivers are putting down their qualifying laps. So our top 8 for the playoffs are going to be Gabe Butler, JD Crow, Vicente Guerrero, Eric Laurie, Sebastian Marin, Cody Nagels, Todd Siebels, and our defending champion Peter DeBorgia. So those will be our guys. Everybody resets to 0, or in this case 2000. And from there, say it's just whoever gets the best 4 races. So we talk about it during the regular season. We're going to talk about it here again in the 4-race playoff. Bonus points. That is going to be the name of the game, in my opinion. Again, you can get 3 bonus points for a clean race, 1 bonus point for getting the pole, leading the lap, leading the most laps, and also our highest climber also gets a bonus point. So a lot of opportunities for points. I said the big one to me again is the incident-free race. I think that's what a lot of these drivers, they're going to have to think about that risk versus reward here in these 4 races. And of course, we'll be here tonight. Next week, we will be off over the 4th of July weekend. So definitely hope you all have a very happy but safe 4th of July. So I want everybody to come back with all their fingers and toes with the same amount that they left with. But yeah, so hope you're all doing well. So I know we're unfortunately kind of competing against the NASCAR race over at Nashville. So unfortunately the weather over there kind of throwing things a little bit. So obviously no spoilers from us on the race over there for those that are watching it, or like one of my good buddies, Chad Cole, probably has it going on his VCR. So definitely avoiding any spoilers for him. But yeah, so we're gonna get things underway here in just a little bit. So hope you're all doing well. Happy Sunday. And yeah, let's and I know say on my side, but I say I don't want to get in trouble, but I definitely gotta do a shout out and a thank you to my partner in crime. Say for a happy anniversary to her slash us, 14 years today, and many more prior to being married. So she's still put up with me for this long. Hopefully, I can keep going another 14 plus. We'll see how it all shakes out, but. Yeah, so definitely want to give her a thank you, a shout out, because I mean she lets me do this to kind of bring on the racing for you guys. Lets me race also when I'm not broadcasting, so it's a lot of fun to be able to do all this for everybody that watches here. And like I said, the kind of the dedication, the selflessness on her end too, that allows us to be able to have these kind of things to do for fun. Definitely means a lot. So. Hope you're all doing well. Like I said, qualifying still underway here. Got about a minute and a half left right now. We've got about 18 cars taking time. Will be a slightly smaller field here tonight. Looks like maybe about 25 roughly drivers tonight. So we'll see if that comes into play as well. Say, because I think that could be a good thing for the playoff drivers, because it doesn't, if they have a bad race, they don't fall as far down the running order if we had that 30-35 car field like we've seen before. So but that also could mean teams could be more important here tonight as well. As we know, there's a couple big groups with TW Motorsports, with Bootknockers, the team Bootknockers. So that could also come into play here this evening right now. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, looks like for the most part, just about everybody who's put down a lap has done so. So I'll say we'll get things ready to go pull up our starting grid in just a moment, because let's say they've got about 10 more seconds. And yeah, I think everybody that's on track has put laps down. So it looks like we're going to have 18 cars that put a lap in, which is going to leave us about 6 to 7, if I'm reading the numbers right here, that did not put a qualifying lap in. So that's going to talk about the strategy, and saying also will show some of the tickers and stuff that's going to kind of help you identify where your favorite drivers are or where your playoff contenders are here tonight. So let's go ahead and pull up that starting grid for tonight's event as Sebastian Marin gets pole position here, and say for a plate race by kind of a healthy margin. They're 2/100ths of a second over Gabe Butler. You have Vicente Guerrero there in third, so 3 of our playoff contenders in the top 3. Everett Lane fourth, Cody Nagels and Peter DeBorgia, 2 more playoff drivers there, 5th and 6th. And then we got BK Anderson right there as well. Bud Steele, Eric Laurie, Keith Horner are top 10. Then you go back to Robert DuPont, Dean Wilkinson in 12th. We're continuing down the running order. Then you have J.D. Crow, Charles Sanchez, Jay Hilliard, Paul Sheldon, Dave Bingle, Robert Jordan, Robert Rock, Andy Brigante, Dan Harrington, Randy Miner, Todd Siebels, and Bob Fitzgerald will be our 24 gridders here tonight as everybody's starting to get lined up here on pit road to get things underway. And so let's go ahead and pull up our ticker here so I can show you what we're talking about. So again, look for our playoff drivers, look for their names highlighted in the green. So for those that are in the green, those are the playoff drivers. So like you see right there, those top 3 we just talked about there, Sebastian, Gabe, and Vicente. And some of them also have a little dash P next to their name. That's also for on track for those guys to kind of recognize where the playoff drivers are. There you see Cody Nagels and Peter DeBorgia there, 5th and 6th. So right there you got 5 of the playoff drivers in the top 6. You see Eric Laurie in 9th. And we'll continue down a little further, saying we'll see the remainder of those playoff drivers. I think the next, if I'm not mistaken, J.D. Crow. Yep, there J.D. Crow is right there in 13th. And then going for the highest climber award, you got to go still a fair bit back here to try to find where that driver is. And I say because they are opting to start towards the back here, and that is going to be Todd Siebels in that 45, starting in 23rd position. As the field here start rolling out onto the grid here to get their warm-up lap done. And so right here you'll see Randy Miner, then wait for one more driver. There's Todd Siebels in 23rd. Those will be our 8 drivers going for the championship here this season. I'll say right on cue there is my partner in crime, Matt Wagner. And I say looks like one driver not on the grid here. That is Bob Fitzgerald. So we'll have to keep an eye out for Bob if he makes or not, Matt. If that's the case, that puts us at 23 starters here this evening. But once again, those Sebastian Marin and Vicente Guerrero, Gabe Butler, and Everett Lane, are going to be our front 2 rows here.
Oh, man. It's playoff time, buddy. Let's kick it off. I'm ready.
Yeah, 4 races, 2 races at Daytona, 2 races at Talladega, kind of intermixed with one another. So it'll be Daytona, week off for the 4th of July, and then Talladega, and then Daytona followed by the finale at Talladega once more. So yeah, say again, I mean, Daytona at a little narrower, so say probably not as prevalent 3-wide racing. And that's the interesting part too, is to see those that are outside the playoffs, like let's say in Everett Lane. We know how fast he is. He just doesn't have the team kind of behind him, unfortunately, so far tonight. So we'll see if Everett can maybe try to throw some spoiler into this one as well. However, though, pace car is about to duck off, which is going to lead to that quick green flag here for Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler. And we'll get underway here as that green flag is down and away. Playoff race number 1 is underway. So far, so good. But look at that Everett Lane, though. He looks either went up top or maybe got put up top. And he's already getting kind of left out to dry there in that number 24. Just found a hole in there behind Peter DeBorgia here. So that's going to allow Peter to line up with his teammate there of Gabe Butler. It looks like lap number 1 going to be probably no contest. It's looking like for that number 23 of Sebastian Marin. And it looks like that 14 of Vicente Guerrero, not a lot of pressure. I thought he might try to jump up in front of that number 1 car, but he's opted to stay in line and push that 23 as we start lap number 2.
Yeah, like what we said, friends. And a 24 car doesn't. I don't see him in the Discord at all, but not much friends he has, I guess, over the radio. That's gonna be very difficult for him to has some help.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I mean, the thing is, I mean, we know how good he is, so I think if he gets the opportunity, he'll be able to make some friends. But saying that might be again, or maybe he needs to try to look at maybe partnering some guys that maybe don't have any official teammates themselves, or maybe just a smaller group. Like say maybe say if he tries to go up against the Boot Market, or he tries to team up with Vicente and Cody and BK Anderson, because they're actually nicely lined up on that inside line here. So yeah, so I'd say definitely some opportunities for them. But right now, I'd say it's still pretty steady 2x2. Not a lot going on changing up front here. A little further back, we do have a couple drivers that are starting to make a little bit of noise to try to gain some positions. Dan Harrington being one of those in that 82. He is up 6 positions as they run. And then as I say, then we got a couple guys just kind of cruising right now. Andy Brigante kind of leading that group about just a couple car lengths off the back there. And then kind of Todd Siebel's doing those Todd Siebel things we talked about this cruise control right now for that 45, but don't expect to see him there once it comes down to crunch time.
Well, there we got contact out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yep. Cars around. That's gonna bring out our yellow. Involved one of our playoff contenders, Peter DeBorgia there, and we got a couple still up in the wall there. Who else went off track? I think it was Paul Sheldon, if I'm not mistaken. I think he got a little piece of that. The one I'm looking a little further back here. Who is that? I think it was Randy. Yeah, Randy Miner. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Dave Bingle. I'm sorry. Front clip gone on that thing. So that's an unfortunate start to say. It's also going to be a big hit for a couple of our playoff contenders there. Like I said, Peter DeBorgia, that's not how he wants to defend his championship. I believe has a pretty solid hit on the outside there for that 41. You can see the nose damage. So let's go back and take a look. Try to see if we can find what exactly happened here.
I kind of see it. Focus on our buddy. Looks like the 6 car.
So we see Peter DeBorgia up there in that 3rd lane. And I say, not sure if he was opting to drop to the back, or maybe if something kind of got out of line. Oh yeah, you see right there, Bud Steele, a little bit of contact, came down a little bit onto Robert DuPont, and then just that contact just goes right across the nose of Peter. And then for a moment, it looked like they had everything gathered back up, but then of course, I say, yeah, you see there's where the 6 breaks loose, catches actually Dean Wilkinson there. And then unfortunately, you see just some of those TW guys just nowhere to go. The 28 car we had just talked about. The damage to Dave Bingle's machine here, as I say, as he gets then spun around. Then a little further back, when another playoff driver, JD Crow, there in the back in that number 5 is right in the thick of this one as well. And we'll see if he's able to. That's not the angle we want. See if he's able to peek through here. And it looks like so far so good. And say, so we'll actually speed it up and double check. And yeah, great job by JD. Todd Siebels, you can see he just rode way back down there to make sure, but yeah, so unfortunately, though, drivers are going to be taking a pretty big shot on that right there. Peter DeBorgia, that's going to be one that he's going to probably try to save that fast repair. But unfortunately, talk about those bonus points, though, Matt. Those are unfortunately out the door here already for that 41. And you see everybody trying to get it organized here, trying to prevent any pit penalties. But as the leaders here, again, I suspect we'll see probably just a splash of fuel for these leaders here, Matt. But this will put them safely from here now in a 2-stop window to the end.
Yeah, before we that caution period, it looked like that 24 was trying to shuffle out the 41 there. That was actually a pretty smart move. Kind of a little bit of quote-unquote payback and kind of return, because they left him out hanging high and dry, and that was a smart play to do. But unfortunately, Buzzsaw got a little bit loose and made contact on the bottom there.
So you see Peter DeBorgia, he has made his way to pit road, and yeah, it looks like he's going to try to get damage repaired manually. Same thing for that 6 of Bud Steele, so look for lengthy stops for these guys. I believe there's pretty much no choice for one of the other TW drivers that had to burn that fast repair, because that car was pretty much destroyed, unfortunately. So he's going to probably have to burn that fast repair right off the bat. And do you need to mention Bob Fitzgerald? He has made it onto track, so he's sitting on pit road currently. But I believe is multiple laps down as they run, so hopefully he can get back out on track. But yeah, it looks like right now Peter and Bud here are the 2 that are going to definitely have those lengthy pit stops we talked about, though. So we're going to jump over to our leaders, though, here, Matt, because this is, again, I say this kind of opportunity here, and we'll probably see some split strategy. Do we see anybody top off, get a little more fuel in their cars? Looks like the front runners all going to opt to pretty much stay out here. Going to have a few takers here towards the back half. JD Crow, Dave Bingle. I say they're just going to put a little extra fuel in as well, just top off here on that one to go. And of course, need to mention the 41 there. He's actually rolled out already of pit road. Where did he go? Of Peter DeBorgia. So he's just trying to make sure that he doesn't lose a lap. That car's still pretty significantly damaged here. Also, Bud Steele's already rolled out there as well. Still pretty significant damage on that car as well. So goal for them here, though, Matt, they just need to hang on to the draft. And if they can hold the draft, their race is not lost yet. So that's going to be job number one for them. And that might be where we see, for instance, that number 5 car. I say he's in the playoffs, I should mention, of course, that number 5. However, maybe JD Crow, maybe he tries to work a little bit with that 41 to help his chances out as well. So we'll have to see if that comes into play or not. But up front, though, lights are off. It's going to hand it over to Vicente Guerrero and Sebastian Marin on the front row. All right. Also saw Bud Steele peek back. I'm going to take a look, and yeah, it looks like he opted. He decided, you know what, I'm just going to take that fast repair now. Maybe too much damage for him to feel comfortable. So on the 6 car, that's going to be his fast repair. And unfortunately, it looks like the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald may have already retired from the event in the 08. So puts us back to that 23 drivers on the racetrack. And so the pace car is in here. Matt's going to hand it over to that 14. He's got control of this restart, but I think he's going to wait for that green flag to fly, keep the field all bunched together, because right now he doesn't have any teammates lined up behind him. He's got that one of Gabe Butler, but so again, he's just trying to get some bonus points as well in that number 14 here as we get back to green. You mentioned, unfortunately, the 6 of Bud Steele has had to hit. He did the wave around, not the wave around, I'm sorry, came back in for the fast repair. Looks like he's actually back on pit road. I'm not sure if it's maybe a pit penalty or not, but so he's going to be off by a lap at this point as they run. But up front, though, still everybody 2x2 up front. But we do have a pretty big break on the field here. As you see right now, that number 59, Jay Hilliard, he's got a teammate of Dave Bingle behind him, but they're almost a second behind those guys in front of them. And there's a little bit of nose damage to that number 59, Jay Hilliard, as we actually have a bunch of drivers here hitting pit road. So I'm going to have to go on a limb and say that's probably a pit road penalties for maybe or passing under yellow or something like that. So not sure about that one. That's a tough break for a handful of these guys, though, say, especially JD Crow in that 5. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. But Peter DeBorgia right now just on the edge trying to hang on to that draft again. This is the important thing for Peter here. But the problem is, this, as you can see, I mean, he is about 0.3 of a second back. But again, further up, though, I say Dave Bingle, he's got about now a second between he and the car in front. And then also then you go back to Todd Siebels and Dean Wilkinson, kind of the same boat here. They got another second to that group in front. So these guys are going to have to try to hustle back up here. But unfortunately, you can see right now, I think they've just dropped Peter DeBorgia there in that number 41. He's got Robert Jordan now with him. I think Robert trying to help out that 41 as best he can. So do need to mention drivers that were on the in the pits there for that serving the penalty. Looks like JD Crow's just rolled out of pit road. He's now trapped a lap down, as is, I believe, Randy Miner, and then Bud Steele is also back out on track. So this initial start to the race, Matt, it's kind of gotten a little bit haywire here for a lot of guys.
Yeah, we do remember. Pardon me, my cat. So we've been in this book before. People take penalties and passing it, I guess, on the yellow. Vicente has been in there for the past couple weeks. Cody Nagels has been there. But all those drivers have overcome it. But right now it's playoff time. It's no mistakes can be made here in the playoffs if you want to survive here and take home that championship.
Yeah, and I say right now the 2 drivers really of our playoffs that are in a really tough spot right now are that number 41 of Peter DeBorgia and the 5 of JD Crow. I say Peter's about 5-10 seconds off the lead pack and unfortunately growing the wrong way. And then JD Crow right now, I believe the first car 1 lap down for the moment, but he's also in kind of in a tough spot. So we'll see. I say again, some of these guys are gonna need a yellow to kind of save their race possibly save their championship hopes as well. Again, we talked about, I mean, let's say right now, say you got Peter in 19th, you got JD in 21st, and you look at the timing scoring on the left there. I mean, you've got pretty much all the other playoff drivers in that top 7 as it looks right now, with the top 4, 7th of Eric Laurie, and then you've got the 45 Todd Siebels in 16th. But importantly for Todd, though, in that main pack, and it looks like Peter's actually decided, you know what, I can't take this, I got to take the hit now. Probably see that 41 take the faster pair if I'm guessing here. So that's going to also knock that the 41 down a lap here most likely. So yeah, this is going to be in a kind of a between a rock and a hard place for a couple of these playoff contenders.
Okay, that's exactly what he's done. And it looks like he takes in fuel too. Right. Pretty smart.
Yeah, it's like just a splash of fuel. So yeah, so we'll see if that comes into play. So right now for Peter, though, his goal, he's got to try to get up to speed here as quick as he can. Maybe try to either catch up to the 21 and the 21 here and the 6 of Bud Steele, Andy Brigante. That would definitely help his pace out. And then the second goal is to make sure he stays in front of this lead pack, because here they come, and they're going to be closing with a big head of steam here on those 3 drivers we just mentioned there. You can see they've just hooked up together. So this is going to be a really important part for Peter now. He's going to have to pretty much just race this as if this is his race to stay on the lead lap here and for his chance to win a championship. So I think if you're Peter, you got to try to stay with Andy and with Bud here and just push as hard as you can here.
Yeah, they got some traffic come through. But, we'll see.
Yeah, and I say Peter did not hang out with those guys, so he's kind of off on his own here at the moment. Yeah, there he goes. He's going to, unfortunately, just kind of take the hit here. He's going to go up top here, go to the top of 3. I say it's going to drop him down the running order, but again, should at least get him, hopefully, as these guys just get a little squirrely there. But I think he'll be able to cycle on right here behind that 5-man Charles Sanchez, and now he should be in a safe spot. So that's a big break for Peter here. But now, so you can see here, kind of split strategy. You see Bud Steele, he's down on the apron. You see the 21 of Andy Brigante. He's gone to the 3rd lane here. I'll say, because again, right now for that number 41 car, he's got to get around this 21. If we get a yellow, right now Andy is in that position. So this is where Peter's going to have to decide. We got one. Vicente Guerrero just got a big push there. And unfortunately, he's going to hit pit road here at a high rate of speed there. Saying that was not a planned pit road entry there for Vicente. Let's go back and take another look at this, man, and see how this all kicked off here. As you see, Gabe goes up to the top, and I'm going to say probably just, unfortunately, a push not quite oh, no, actually, no. Sebastian Marin has contact to the side of that 14, and that's what actually sent Vicente down onto pit road. So I'll say, again, this is the question now. What do you have to do here? As you see, actually, Vicente, he's gone ahead and he's hit pit road as well, probably also having to serve that penalty. So this race is just kind of right off the bat here, Matt. It's just kind of gone on its head here for now 3 of our playoff contenders, the 14, the 41, and the 5. So this is already, I mean, you almost got half of our playoff contenders right now in a really tough spot.
Wow. I mean, this is a crazy start. You know, this man has not had the the best of luck here. Probably the last 4 races. He's been stuck a lap down, but he's overcome every single race. He's going to have to dig himself out of the hole on this one. The field just passed him. He might go 2 laps now.
Yeah, and the other thing to look at is the lucky dog battles right now. The 41 of Peter de Borgia, he is, for the moment, ahead of Andy Brigante right now. You see the 41 on the inside line there, and then you see the 21 just kind of peeking out there with that Lamborghini on the hood. So that's going to be another one to keep an eye on for that part of things. But also, we're going to add one more to the mix here, Matt. Robert Jordan, he's just rolled out of pit road as well, I believe, in the 74. Or no, I'm sorry. Looks like he's lost the draft. But I say he's only about a straightaway off the lead pack here as they come out of 2. He's entering 3, but he has 0 drafts. So that's going to be another driver here that's going to drop a lap down. So we're already up to, I believe, 4 drivers a lap down. I believe the 41, the 21, the 5, as well as the 101 and the 14, with about to add the 74 to that mix as well. But yeah, so this whole field is just completely kind of just shaken up here. Again, we're only in lap 17, Matt. I mean, we've already talked about 3 of our 8 playoff contenders kind of being out of the running here for the win here as things stand.
totally unexpected.
And actually, I'm
I'm
gonna
in
go
shock.
back because I obviously missed
Yeah.
something as well, Matt. Because
Really?
yeah, because we talked about the lead pack right now. Paul Sheldon's actually the last of the lead pack here in 12th. You gotta go 8 seconds back now to Dean Wilkinson. Something happened there because you see there's Dean, there's Todd, and there's Robert. They're now, almost 9 seconds off the lead here. Again, the 45, one of our playoff contenders as well. So really now half of them have lost the main pack here. You got the 21 of Andy Bergrante. He's actually gone back onto pit road here. And it looks like the 28, he's had an issue. He's had to jump off track as well of Dave Bingle. So it's just, yeah, it's just all kind of falling apart for a lot of drivers right here. As you've got now up top, you got the 1 and the 23 trying to work together, getting around the 32 there, VK Anderson. And so, yeah, so right now, I mean, you've got the 1, the 23, the 06, and then Eric Laurie right now. Those are the 4 playoff contenders who are still in this main hunt right now, in this main pack right here. And what that did do, though, with the 21 going back on the pit road, though, Matt, that's now allowed Peter DeBorgia here. He can be a lot more relaxed and a lot less aggressive, as he's going to be able to just kind of tag on to the back of his draft group, but not risk anything to be up front there to kind of mix it up to stay as the lucky dog. So yeah, and which I say right now they are definitely working on mixing it up here.
We had a little bit of incident on track. Looked like Andy Brigante got him in a contact with Dave Bingle. I know you said that, but
That might be why. That might have been why. Yeah, the 28 and the 21, one had to take a tow, one went back to pit road. So yeah, it's maybe an issue between the two of them. So yeah, this is all kind of just come undone here for a lot of drivers here. You see just in the background there, say those PW drivers. Let's say they'll pick up the 74 Robert Jordan soon, but yeah, right now, Matt, this is really, like I said, it's kind of just all kind of come about on its head here. So what we do have, though, is, let's say we're about 5 laps away from what would have been the original scheduled pit stop here. But again, with everybody pitting around lap number 5, these guys probably can go to just about lap number 30. And I think that's what we'll see. I think we're going to see everybody go as long as they can, because that'll give them those couple extra laps just in case of that potential late yellow for a green-white checkered here. So yeah, just the way this has all gone has definitely been a wild one to kick things off here. So right now, like I said, we've got 12 drivers in this lead pack on the lead lap, and then right now the first driver, 1 down there of that 41 of Peter DeBorgia. And so he's just kind of hanging out here, like I said, just staying outside the draft here, just close enough to save fuel and kind of just be ready to react should anything happen in front of them, because they're actually coming up pretty quickly on the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. And right now, I think, like I said, I think this is actually going to put Vicente 2 laps down. So this is, yeah, I mean, like I said, this thing is all kind of coming undone here up front here for a lot of our playoff drivers. So let's say for Vicente, this, again, 2 laps to come back from is a very difficult thing to do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You hit the nail on the head. 2 laps down, one lap down, you're fine. So he needs to find a way to get himself back at the front like he did about a couple of weeks ago, leading that pack, staying almost on the lead lap, but in this case, it's going to be 1 lap down.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be some strategy involved for Vicente's part, what to do, because right now, I mean, the field's so spread out here, Matt. Like I said, you've got basically about 14 cars in this lead pack, 12 of which are on the lead lap. Then you go about 10 seconds back to this 3-car pack with Dean Wilkinson, Todd Siebel's Robert Rock. Then you got to go back to Robert Jordan, who unfortunately looks like Robert was not able to tag onto the back of those TW train. I was thinking that was going to be his ticket there, was just pick up with them, but he's off on his own here. Say JD Crow, he's the next person in line. He and Randy Miner 18th and 19th, also still 1 down. And we just mentioned Vicente, and then you got Bud Steele in the 6-car, same thing on his own, as is the 21 of Andy Bergrante. So like I said, just everything, just for some of these drivers, just everything that could go wrong has been going wrong. But up front, like I said, still Gabe Butler, Sebastian Marin, they've kind of been the 2 that have kind of kept the charge here. Started on the front row, staying on the front row. So yeah, so definitely a very wild and crazy start to these opening 25 laps here now, as we're going to start lap 25 next time around.
Man, they sound my luck at the Indy. Oh man, it's a heartbreaker, but they can come back. the race is definitely not over for these guys. They're not just hang their head low. It's you got to pull through and got to persevere.
Yeah, and again, I mean, this could be the silver lining, like I said, with tonight's a slightly smaller field. I'd say probably because of the competing NASCAR race that's still on TV, I believe. So, say that's the one maybe kind of silver lining I can mention is say you've got Dave Bingle, Bob Fitzgerald out, so that's only 22 drivers right now on the racetrack as things run here. So, even with a bad night, you're still right in the lower 20s, if you will, maybe even top 20 at worst for some of these drivers potentially. So I think in that sense, where if this was a packed house with the 30, 35 drivers, that might be where you're a little more worried about points. Whereas this, I mean, it's going to hurt, no question, but at least gives you maybe a little bit of leeway here. But we're about to get to another talking point here, though, because we just talked about some of those drivers, like the 14 who went 2 down. It's about to be a couple more here with JD Crowe and Randy Minor right now currently sitting 1 down, right on the edge of going 2 down, and then Andy Brigante not too far away from them, and then that 74 and the 6 Robert Jordan, Bud Steele, like I said, a little further up. I say once that happens, that'll pretty much get the field all reorganized here. So now we got to see, though, we'll say what's the strategy here. It looks like the 101, he's going to try to run the wall here. Let's say again, Daytona Talladega, 2 separate animals on the apron. It's like Talladega, you can definitely get away with it a lot more. But here at Daytona, it's a much flatter one. So we'll see. So you see BK Anderson. Yeah, there they go. They're all going to take to the outside of JD Crowe and of the 101 of Randy Minor. Looks like easily done there. So good heads up by all those drivers there. Next in line is going to be the 21 of Andy Brigante. And you see Andy, he's rolling up to the top side there as well. So looks like everybody's kind of got the same memo here. So it looks... We're going to get the field here pretty shortly all back together here, except for the 3-car pack of Todd Siebels, Robert Rock, and Dean Wilkinson.
That was a little more every time I see that 3rd car lane, I just kind of cringe in my chair.
Yeah, it's always a little nerve-wracking. I'm one of those drivers. I'm not, like, I try to give as much room as I can. I wind up giving too much room. I just kind of nick the wall, and then I wind up kind of bouncing off the wall down towards the top 2, and I'd say that always makes those guys very nervous. And I have had, actually Dan Harrington just touching the apron there in the 82 car. So I think he's going to hang on to it there, but that could have been a big moment for him as well. But it does look like Robert Jordan, he should be able to tag onto this group as well. So like I said, we're starting to pick up pretty much the whole field here. So hopefully for Robert here, hopefully he can tag back on to the 41 there of Pierre de Borgia, because next in line is that 6 of Bud Steele. And yep, there goes Bud. He's going up to the top as well. So yeah, so I think we're going to get about all but the 3 TW drivers there all back into the mix here. Although, that's 74. I think he's lost the draft again, Matt, for Robert Jordan, unfortunately.
No,
we got a lot of movement up front.
Yeah, that was...
Looks like we're okay, though.
Yeah, that was that little lap car. That was a little smart move back there by Sebastian Marin. Use that lap car as a little bit of leverage to pretty much boost himself up to the lead.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does look like Robert Jordan has lost the draft once more in that number 74. So he's going to kind of be off on his own again until he hopefully gets picked up by that 2W threesome, Dean Wilkinson, Todd Siebels, and Robert Rock. And right now they're running about maybe half to 3/4 of a second slower than this lead pack with those 3 of them. So any car that they can add would definitely be in their favor here. So we'll see if that comes into play here. But Matt, actually what it's going to be about time here, though, is I think pit stop's just probably about this time by. So let's watch Sebastian Marin. Does he come in this time around, or can they go one more? I think it's going to be very soon. We start to see some drivers start to duck in. Looks like not this time by. I do think pit window is going to be opening very soon. So we're starting lap number 30. Again, they all pitted last on lap number 5. This is the opportunity that those that are kind of off sequence, like the Peter de Borgia, Vicente Guerrero, Andy Brigante, they all pitted at lap 11, 14, and 16. I think you kind of stay out, you go as hard as you can, maybe get a yellow when you gain a lap or more, and then you have to hit when you have to. I think that's your best bet to try to gain at least 1 or so laps from the lead pack. Like I said, for Peter that can get it back on the lead lap, for JD and Vicente that can get him from 2 down to 1 down. So we'll see if that comes into play or not. But so far, not a lot of takers. Got a couple towards the back there. Looks like just 2 TW there, Jay Hilliard and Paul Sheldon. They're going to be their front runners there that are going to hit pit road first, but it's just 2 of them, so we'll see if that's going to be enough or not. But be ready for a very busy pit road here in the next lap or 2, Matt.
Yes, sir.
And it looks like the other TW drivers, Dean Wilkinson, Todd Siebel, Robert Rock, they've also hit pit road there. Again, they're about 10 seconds roughly back or so. So we'll have to see how they sort out. But yeah, so right now though, we're going to be watching this front group of approximately 12. See what the call is for these guys up front here. And it looks like just Robert DuPont in the 07 on his own. He's going to hit pit road.
Interesting.
Squeeze job there by the 1 in the 06 in the trial. Well, I don't think it was intentional, but definitely a tight little squeeze there. And yeah, good evening, Michelle. Say right now, BK running second, just about to hit pit road here. Say for our leaders. Say it's been a rough one for a lot of drivers, but right now BK is one of the few that's been able to escape kind of the calamity. But what I'm seeing right now, Matt, though, a lot of drivers starting to drop to the back here in that second row. I think that pretty much tells us here. I think Sebastian's going to lead a busy group of drivers on the pit road this time by.
Yeah, I think Michelle, I think he's doing just all right. I think it's that new scheme he's wearing. Speaking of that, here they come. Almost every driver hitting pit road here.
Yeah, so you can see how aggressive they. Oh, we got Eric Laurie.
Laurie just spins on pit road.
Another playoff contender there, Matt, in that number 071. We'll see if Kenny recover quickly and grab a gear. No, he's going to lose the draft, no question there. I think he can get away with the damage, but unfortunately the draft is going to be the issue for him. We do have a couple drivers.
No.
Oh, what do I miss?
Oh, not Sebastian Marin, but Todd Siebel's got busted speeding up pit road. More issues.
Another playoff contender, Matt. You're right, and say he's still sitting on pit road. We do have the 4 drivers staying out here, Matt. The 24 of Everett Lane currently still our leader. He is ahead of JD Crow, Bud Steele, and Eddie Brigante. Again, some of these guys are a little bit off sequence. I think the 24 has to pit. And yeah, here they all come. Actually, it looks like the 21 is going to stay out. But that's going to complete our leader cycles through pit road. And so now we'll have to see where everybody cycles through. Right now, Sebastian Marin is the one that leading the field out of pit road. But look at the gains, though, by Peter DeBorge. Remember, he was at the back of the field here. He probably was able to short fill that 41 car. So now he's up into the 4th position, kind of on track. And I'd watch the back bumper of that 1 car. I think the 1, the 41, they'll probably try to get around these teammates, the 32 and the 14. See if they can maybe put Peter as the tail end of the lead lap. You see right there, Vicente doesn't want to give him the top. So we'll see. And it looks like BK's debating. And yeah, he's going to go low. There they go. They're going to jump high. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing right here. I think that 41, he's going to be the one that kind of lead this team. Again, keep himself on the tail end of the lead lap, but then also kind of keep the pace up for these guys. So, but that being said, though, we'll have to see where do they kind of cycle out in relation.
Oh, we got a spin on the apron.
Yeah, that was Bud Steele, I believe, in the 6 car. It is. He's grabbing gear. He's getting back going again. That may have been on pit exit for that 6 car, I believe. So we stay under green, but let's jump back up front, though, because Everett Lane still holds the lead here as he's right in front of the 5 of JD Crow. But look at the momentum. There's just nothing that Everett can do here. That's going to put the lead to Gabe Butler. But right now, tail end of the lead lap is very important. That is going to be Peter DeBorgia in that number 41.
Here's going to be someone else fighting to get that spot. That's my railroad friend here. He's looking to go at least 1 lap down instead of 2 laps down, like you said.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. And I think that's what we're going to have is kind of, we've had it before where the kind of the quote-unquote lead of the race is actually going to be drivers that are either a lap down or tail end the lead lap. But actually, I'm surprising to look at Sebastian Marin. He's actually jumped up top here. He's going to clear those guys and now move Sebastian actually back to the lead and to the point there as well. So that puts now Peter back to 1 down in that 41 car. Again, the only car 1 down in this main pack. So this Paul Sheldon's is about 9 seconds off of Peter. So, but look at that, Peter right away jumps right back up top. So kind of an inter-team battle here. A little surprised that these guys just didn't kind of stay lockstep and just kind of go on cruise control. But they are about to catch Todd Siebels in that 45, and I believe this is a position. Actually, this put Todd 2 laps down, Matt. So again, these guys just, this has been a very, I mean, look at the timing and scoring. You got the 14, 16, 17, 18, all playoff drivers here. But look at Peter DeBorgia. He's actually just backed right on out of it here because he's got no help. He's going to go straight to the back right now, as you've got pretty much a train right now on the inside line of our lead lap contenders right now, which is actually dropped to 5 cars, Matt, in this lead pack are on the lead lap. Just on the outside looking in, Dan Harrington, this is going to be, I think he's going to have a chance here, Matt. Dan Harrington, he's going to pick up some draft off of not Cody Nichols, I'm sorry, off of the 45 car of Todd Siebels. This might be enough to propel him on in here. So last time by, he ran a 46.86 liters or 46.61, so about 2/10 off. But if he can just pick up enough draft off of Todd Siebels here, maybe, just maybe, he can stay in this lead pack. Otherwise, he's got to drop about 8 seconds back to the second group of Charles Sanchez, Eric Laurie and company. Keep an eye on the timing square. I'm also going to watch the lap time this time by for Dan Harrington for those that might be vested. And then look at this. He's going to pick up a little more draft here once again. Now he's going to pick up the 47 there. Last time by was a 46.65 for Dan Harrington, 3/10 quicker than the leaders. So he does have a chance here. He's going to have to try to make quick work of that 74, steal some draft, and then get right around him. And it's exactly what he's going to do. So I think that was just exactly what Dan Harrington needed here, because he'll be able to also tag on to Peter DeBorgia now, who's dropped off the back just a tiny bit. So yeah, so right now I think that's going to bring us to 6 leaders here in this main pack. Right now the 1 and the 23 are on the lead lap, as is the 32 of BKM. It's actually the front 4 rows, or front 2 rows, I'm sorry, first 4 cars are on the lead lap, are for position. And then you go to Vicente Guerrero. He is 2 down, I'm sorry. The 5 of JD Crow, he is 2 down. And then 06 Cody Nagel also on the lead lap. So, and the 45 2 down, and the 41 of Peter DeBorgia 1 down. So this pack here, Matt, is just so jumbled right now. So right now up front, though, Sebastian Marin just jumps in front of the one to Gabe Butler, and I think Matt may have had some connection issues. He's had to step away, it looks like, possibly, or because I know there were some storms and weather over the NASCAR race in Nashville, and it might be affecting Matt as well. So, but right now, though, Sebastian Marin, Everett Lane, they continue to kind of just control here in the front. But you see the 5 car JD Crow, he's kind of put his name in the hat here. I think he's going to try to get himself. Again, this is important for JD. If he can go from 2 down to being the tail end of 1 down, it just opens up a world of opportunities for that number 5 car if a yellow should arise. So I think that's going to need to be the goal for the 5. Honestly, I think it needs to be the goal for the 14 and the 45 as well. But I think the 41 of Peter DeBorgia is doing exactly what he needs to do. Just let these guys push and let them do their thing. You stay back, you save fuel. You're easily the first car 1 down. There's no pressure around you. So I think this is exactly what Peter needs to be doing here. Again, just kind of minimizing the damage in that number 41 machine. But right now up front, still holding kind of steady as these top 2, the 23 and 24 on the front row. Then you get the 1 and the 5. Again, the 5 2 laps down as they run. So looking at teams and everything, so you got a couple boot knockers there. You got the 23 and the 1 in that mix. You got the 5, who again is 2 laps down, but it's part of that team. The 41 as well, 1 down, but part of that team as well. So you got 4 of them together there. You've got Vicente and BK Anderson, they're right there together, and Cody Nagels, I'm sorry. So you got 3 of them here. I'm not sure if Dan Harrington if he's got any. It looks like actually I think Dan is working with the BK guys, or the boot knockers, I should say. I'm sorry. So Dan is with that group. So I guess you can kind of net them with 5 drivers. And then, like I said, the odd man out, I feel like right now probably Everett Lane. So this is where, again, if you kind of power in numbers, if I'm Everett, maybe try to find some group to kind of feel comfortable with, like, hey, let's work together. And if you kind of go off numbers, that would either be with the boot knockers or with that group of BK Anderson and Vicente Guerrero. So yeah, we'll have to kind of see what the strategy is going to be for these guys. But again, they still got 1 more pit stop to go here, and probably about 15, somewhere in that range, laps to go in this one. Or I'm sorry, 20 laps to go in this race, but about 15 more laps, I should say. Once we get about 20 to go, they should be, that would probably be about the max they can go before they have to hit pit road. Of course, if they want to just kind of gamble and bank on no cautions, they would be pitting right around 24, 25 to go would be kind of the absolute outer edge of the fuel window. So we've seen our front group. Let's drop back about 13 seconds, unfortunately. Picks up with Charles Sanchez in the 509 Ally car. He is leading Jay Hilliard, Robert DuPont, Eric Laurie, and Keith Horner. We had mentioned again that mistake on pit road for Eric Laurie that did drop him out of this first pack into the second pack. Still sitting in the top 10, but at this point, no chance to be able to contend for the win here tonight. So that's a tough place for him to be. Then you go another about 15 seconds back to the 55 of Dean Wilkinson, who's got, again, it's a pretty decent group here, about 5 cars in this pack with Robert Rock as the last car. So right now, Dean and Robert are the last 2 on the lead lap, and right now they are roughly about, I'd say about 2/3 of a lap down here. Basically, as they enter turn number 3, the leaders are just coming out of turn 2. There they go into 3. Here come the leaders out of turn 2. That's the difference they have. Lap time wise, 46.90s for our top 2. Dean Wilkinson a 47.90 as well. So we're pretty much running, about a full second slower. I'm sorry. So that again, if they continue that pace, they're at a second slower. That's gonna get the leaders to them here before the end of this race. So that could just again add just another wrinkle into everything. Up front, though, definitely settled down a little bit. As you can see, again, the 24 Everett Lane, the 5 JD Crow. I think it's in JD's best interest. He's been trying to push a 24, just nothing coming from it, unfortunately. As I think this front group, they've just said, you know what? If we just settle in, we can kind of just run this race amongst ourselves here. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing out of this front pack is there's just not a lot of urgency right now. I mean, right now, as I said, it's pretty much a 6-horse race to win this race, and that's if nobody gets dropped during the final set of pit stops here. So, like I said, you see in the ticker, of course, there you see those top 6 there, Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler. You've got Everett Lane there, BK Anderson, Cody Nagels, and Dan Harrington. Those are the 6 that are in the spot to be able to win this race as they run. Again, 1 more pit stop to go, so a lot can change. Of course, as always, let's say, kind of commentator's curse, if you will, caution could change everything in this, and there's a lot of drivers that at this point there's about 6 drivers who do not want to see a caution. There's probably about 16 drivers who do want to see a caution in this race. So it's like I said, it's going to be all to play for here. It's going to be very interesting to see kind of what the strategies are going to be. Do we see teams try to kind of one off each other and say, okay, we're going to kind of call it real late. We're going to jump in pit road and see if we can split us up and we can nail our pit stops. Maybe we break away and we can make it a kind of a 4-car race instead of a 6-car race for the win. So we'll definitely, I think, see some team strategy at some point. The question, like I said, is do you kind of go with the expectation of a green white checker? Do you go and just kind of go full gamble and say, you know what, I'm going to put fuel in it to the scheduled distance and no more? So that's going to be the question mark to see. But you see Todd Siebels, he's hopped up on that 3rd lane in that 45. Again, I think this is what these guys have to do. If you're 2 down, I think you kind of push the envelope a little bit. You got to be aggressive. You got to push. Try to get yourself back to the tail end of 1 down. Like I said, if a caution comes up, then that opens up a world of opportunities. Problem though right now is the fact that those drivers that are 2 down, they're not the ones leading the pack. It's the 24 of Everett Lane who is on that lead lap, so they would have to find a way to push the 24 around and then get themselves around as well. So right now I think it's pit strategy is what we're seeing here. I think what we're gonna see is some of those guys that are trapped that lap or 2 down, I think they're gonna probably try to do an undercut, if you will, which is gonna be pit a little earlier, take a little less fuel, and then try to cycle out in front of our leaders, Sebastian Marin and Gabe Butler, take that little bit less fuel, and see if you can keep them behind you in order to then be able to be on the tail end of one lap down instead of that 2 laps down like we're talking about right now. So the window here, we're going to be coming around. This time it's going to be 27 to go. We'll make this thing, like I said, 25, 24 to go. I think 24 to go is my safe window where you pretty much just open it up and not have to worry about any fuel savings. So that would be 3 more laps from here. So I don't know if we'll see any takers on that strategy. Looking at the lap times once again, the leaders running in the 46.80s. That second pack led by Charles Sanchez in the 47.90s. So again, over a second a lap quicker for this lead pack. And then you go back to Dean Wilkinson, a 47.40. So also still over half a second slower as well. So right now, pretty much nobody can touch on the speed than this main pack that they've got going right now. So they've also got, of course, the numbers, but as I said, we know that these guys are just monsters at the draft and pushing and so on and so forth. So, yeah, right now I'm going to say definitely an advantage, easily showing that it's going to be going to these guys. And again, I mentioned, I say they've got a pretty much, 15, 18, almost 20-second lead here now over that 7th position. So we've only had the one yellow early on around lap number 5. We've gone caution-free since. But again, it's been nothing but straightforward in this race. Lots of mistakes, lots of penalties. And unfortunately, I said that's been the case for the 14. That's the case for the 5 car. And then just unfortunately some involvement in some incidents for some of the other guys as well. So we'll see what we've got left going over it. And yeah. And so yeah, it sounds like a power outage for that number. Not the number, sorry. For my partner in crime there, Matt Wagner. So Matt, hopefully everything is okay though. So just stay safe. I got this. I see the 74, Robert Jordan, he's hit pit road. I think he's just opting to hit pit road, not to worry about kind of the lead pack kind of swallowing him up there. So, but once again, though, JD Crow, Everett Lane, they're trying for all their worth to do something on that second lane, just nothing to do. Right now on the championship side of things, 3 of our 8 playoff drivers still in this main pack in a shot for the win in the race. And of course some good points. That is Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler, and Cody Nagels. Unfortunately, Eric Laurie still in the top 10, but as you can see, he is 20 seconds off the back. And here they go. This is the strategy. They're going to be pitting at 24 to go. Sebastian Marin. Oh, that's, I think, too high. He's going to loop it around. You saw quick brakes there by BK Anderson to avoid that contact. So we'll see if it's a double hit for Sebastian or not, but that was an aggressive entry, and that might be one more playoff contender, unfortunately, possibly taking themselves out of this. So now the question is going to be, can Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, and B. Anderson, can they get in and out together? Because they could separate themselves from Sebastian here, which now puts Everett Lane to the point here, being pushed by Gabe Butler right now. Those are our top 2. Dan Harrington in 3rd. He is also on the lead lap, and those 3 behind him are a lap or more down. Do we get a response? And the answer is yes by, all but 1. Oh, look at that 5 car all on his own here. I see Gabe Butler. Oh, Peter DeBorgia, hot entry. He does the same thing. He's going to come across the nose of Gabe Butler. Gabe possibly gets a little bit damaged. Peter around. It's just, I don't know if it's a full moon tonight or what, folks, but it is going crazy here tonight. And that's going to be Everett Lane, though. He's going to get in on entry here, and this is going to completely shake this field up right now. As you see, here comes Charles Sanchez. He's leading the second group of drivers. They're going to go further. They're going to try to run this out a little more here. Again, maybe trying to base it on a potential for a green-white checkered here. So now the big question is, who is going to be where in the grand scheme of things? Because this field is just completely shaken up right now. 24 is trying to roll out of pit road. You see Dan Harrington a little ways behind him. I think it's the 45 of Todd Siebel's right there as well. Can't tell which TW car that is rolling out of pit road behind him. And then we got to look for that second pack, and that's not even the lead pack. That's the second TW group there. As they start to swing on by, they're being led by Dean Wilkinson. So that's just unfortunate. That's the distance they have to make up as that second pack, though. Jay Hilliard, they are all hitting pit road now as well. And that's going to now put Dean Wilkinson momentarily into the lead. And I believe once everything cycles through, it's going to be right now. Look at this. You got teammates 1, 2, 3 here. Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, and BK Anderson. Of course, Vicente, like I said, trapped 2 down as they run, though. And those other drivers I mentioned with Dean Wilkinson and company, they have also just hit pit road. So right now, this is our lead pack here. And they've got about, looks like 3 cars here. Could soon be 6 if you add Everett Lane and Dan Harrington into this mix. Oh my goodness, this is just completely shaking up the whole running order of this field. Because then you got to go 3 seconds back to Gabe Butler. He is on his own. You got to go 6 seconds back to Sebastian Marin, who's going to pick up Peter DeBorgia. I mean, we got 22 to go, but right now So the problem is, it's a heartbreaker for the 14 cars of Vicente Guerrero, because again, he got knocked down into pit road. Nothing he did. I say just unfortunate, just some side-to-side contact, and unfortunately he kind of paid the price for it. But right now, those teammates right now running 1, 2, 3 on track here. Then you got Bud Steele there as kind of a buffer car. You got the 21 there as well as Andy Devente kind of in the same boat. I believe they still have to pit. Then you get to Everett Lane, Dan Harrington in third and fourth. Those drivers are positioned. Actually, Dan again right on the edge of keeping up with the draft here in that number 82 Transformer Chevrolet. Right now showing about 7/10 off the back. So again, he's just going to be pedaling that car. So you know he's got his foot to the floor, but he's probably bending the pedal right now, just trying to get everything he can. And that I can tell you though, that ticker is going the right way for Dan here. I think he's going to catch the group once again by the skin of his teeth. He's going to make this gap back up here. So we talked about 6 drivers in the lead pack here coming into that final pit stop. We're now down to 4 drivers in this lead pack here, and only 1 playoff driver right now, Cody Nagels, in this top pack here. We got to go now 10 seconds back to Gabe Butler. I think he's just waiting for Sebastian Marin and Peter DeBorgia to pick him up, because again, now that once they get caught up, that's going to be a danger, because will they have enough space to avoid any attack from further back? Because right now Eric Laurie, he's got a good group. He's got Keith Horner, Robert DuPont, Charles Sanchez, Jay Hilliard. They're all right together, so they're going to have some pretty good head of steam. So will that 3-car pack be enough or not? So, but again, we still got 20 to go. This is this has by far been one of the craziest races and craziest playoff races by no question here. As right now you got the 06 to 1432, and actually look at that 32. He's going to jump top here. Didn't expect to see that from BK Anderson, but maybe that's making sure BK, hey, let's keep it amongst the teammates here. If we're going to be leading this field, we want to have our teammates be on leading both lines here. Maybe saw the momentum shifting from Everett Lane's position. So now we've got the race for the lead here between the 06 and the 32. Again, right now, Cody, right now, the only playoff driver in that top pack, in this top 4 in the draft. And you got to go 15 seconds back to the 5th place of Sebastian Marin. Like I said, I mean, just everything's been kicking off on that final pit stop. I mean, it just went off the rails there for everybody. So right now you got pretty much 2 rows of 4 cars here, all lined up one together. Looking at lap times of 47.22, 47.39 in the front. Look for Sebastian Marin now. He's leading that group with Peter DeBorgia and Gabe Butler. With just the 2 of them, they ran a 47.91 for Sebastian. So, I mean, it's about 7/10 slower, but that's just really the 2 of them picking up Gabe a little bit. We'll see what their pace looks like in about 2 more laps when they get Gabe kind of fully up to speed. So this has been a wild one here, folks. So what we'll do is let's run through our playoff contenders first. So right now, kind of bouncing between first and second is that number 06 of Cody Nagels in that Snap-on Toyota. He is leading his teammate on the outside of BK Anderson. Everett Lane there sitting in third. Dan Harrington in fourth. That again, those are our leaders. Then you get to the next playoff drivers. In fifth, you've got Sebastian Marin in that number 23. His teammate Gabe Butler, again, also playoff driver there, sitting in sixth. So right behind them, another playoff contender, their teammate Peter DeBorgia, is in 14th position as they run. However, you get to go to 7th spot, 26 seconds, I should say, off the lead of is Eric Laurie, who's sitting in 7th position out of all of this. And then we mentioned Peter DeBorgia, and then you got to go to 16th position of Vicente Guerrero. So again, he's in this lead pack working with his teammates here. So he sits right now in that 16th spot. Todd Siebels is right there as well with them. He is in the 17th spot, also in the playoffs. I mean, yeah, and then unfortunately it looks like JD Crow in that number 5 machine. He's just rolling out of pit road now. Might be able to pick up his teammates here with the 23. This will definitely help them kind of minimize losses here. So watch to see if the 5 can tag onto the back of these guys. That'll definitely help JD, but say JD, another playoff driver in the 18th spot. So right now we've got as many drivers outside the top 10 as we do inside the top 10. And again, this is with a smaller field here tonight. 24 drivers took the green. I'm honestly at a loss for words tonight. This has been an interesting one. Depending how this shakes out, we're going to have some very interesting interviews, I have a feeling, here tonight. But like I said, this is now the risk versus reward too. I mean, again, right now, of our top 4 in this field here, in this main pack, only one is in the playoffs here. Cody Nagels, like I said, he can make such a big inroad on the points. I mean, he could come out with a solid points lead if everything goes the way he's hoping it does. But, I mean, what's to stop BK Anderson, other than being teammate, of course? I have a feeling BK going to be the selfless teammate we're used to seeing here. But, I mean, what's to stop Everett Lane? What's to stop Dan Harrington? I mean, they're going to try, again, this is right now, you've got 4 drivers here in this group who can win this race. I mean, you like your odds here. Say, you know what? I mean, literally by the math, I mean, you've got a 25% chance to win this race as things are at the moment. Again, 14 to go here. Still lots of racing to go, I say. But I think right now these guys are just kind of just trying to keep the margin. I say they're going to be smart here. I don't think we're going to see any forced moves. I think if I'm the 24, if I'm the 82, I wait till the absolute. You wait till you get that white flag, and then you make the aggressive moves. You do not want to have a yellow come out and bring anybody else into this race. You want, at this point, like I said, you've got now 4 drivers. You want this race going caution free. So you know what? I do not want to see another caution for 13 more laps. If you're Sebastian Marin on back, you're like, yeah, guys, come on, let's have a little bit of a mistake here. Let's bring this back, all of us back together here. Let's have another shot at this thing. So. And I can tell you lap time wise, this will be a good telltale here. It's a 47.46 for Sebastian Marin, BK Anderson at 47.27, so about 2 tenths slower still. But they have been able to kind of stabilize over Eric Laurie there in that 3rd pack at a 47.66. So they're still solidly about 9 seconds behind Gabe Butler in that number 1 car to the 071. Then you got to go again about another 10 seconds back to Dean Wilkinson here in that number 55, who's sitting in 12th. Robert Rock right with him. So these are our last drivers on the lead lap here, the 55 and the 171, who are right now, I'd say here's them coming down the backstretch. We'll scroll back. There's Cody Nagels. It's not that big of a gap right now. So that's going to be the next question is, do these guys get to that pack with Dean Wilkinson, Robert Rock? I mean, that's just going to open up a whole nother potential here as we get to this closing 10 laps here. So yeah, so with us being, unfortunately without Matt Wagner, so I'm trying to keep up as best I can. So I think my 4-leg is trying to offer his services, but I'm not sure. You want to help, Kitty? He's not so sure. He's pretty tired, he says. So I think I'm going to be stuck on this alone until Matt maybe he gets his power back. But like I said, right now, 06 Cody Nagels, he is our leader. He is one of our playoff contenders. Then you get the 32, the 24, and the 82 are the other 3 contenders for the win. That's the one thing Cody doesn't have in his favor right now. All the leaders here, the win here, are all lined up to his outside. But like I said, I think what's going to probably have to happen is the 24 and the 82. They're probably going to have to go to the 3rd lane at some point if they want to have a chance. But like I said, if I'm Everett Lane, Dan Harrington, I wait until pretty much at the start-finish line. Then you maybe make the move to the top. But again, you don't know what the strategy is going to be for these guys, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see what the call is. And I can tell you, though, Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler, and company, they're nearing the leaders' lap times now. But again, unfortunately, they are 18, almost now 19 seconds off the lead, and then another about 10 seconds back to Eric Laurie in that 071. There they are, right there. And I said, here's the group of Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler, JD Crow, and Peter DeBorgia. Like I said, it's been a race. It's the best way I can put it. So I don't know what, like I said, if it's a full moon or what's happening, but it's definitely been an interesting one here tonight. Just anything and everything has definitely kicked off here tonight. I think this is the question mark right now. With these guys putting 47 second lap times in right now, they're about 40 seconds in front of that group of Steen Wilkinson coming. So basically, they've got about 7 seconds until they catch that group with the 55 and company. And again, looking at lap time wise, 47:39 for Cody. Dean Wilkinson was a 47:41. So everybody's really running very comparable times right now. Pretty much everybody's in the mid to low 47s. So right now, pace-wise, yeah, everybody's pretty much on the same page here. So the gaps have not really kind of wavered very much from where they've been. So it's just a very intriguing position for a lot of these guys to be. Like I said, again, Dan Harrington, this is probably one of his better chances. He's been in position now for a podium or a race win as well. It's like, oh, and here we go. That's everything changes right here. Caution is out. Keith Horner involved. Oh, the 74 big shot as well. And I believe it was the 509 of Charles Sanchez. That's going to be the yellow that some wanted, some did absolutely not want to see. This will change absolutely everything here. Let's go back and see if we can find where this all occurred. So it looks like I said, it was around Keith Horner and Charles Sanchez. So we'll back it down here a little bit and take a closer look here. As you see the 509, he's up on the outside. See the 37 on the inside. As there's just maybe some miscommunication possibly. So we'll slow things down here. As you see, I say everything looks all orderly here. See Robert DuPont just, oh, there, it's right there. Robert DuPont just catches the apron there. And then you see the 37, he's going to have to go try to get to the top. But unfortunately, in doing so, that pushes 37 into the 509. And just actually, they're just honestly innocent victims in that one. So that is, like I said, this is going to completely change the complexion. Oh, there's the 74 there. Was probably trying to guess which way to go. And unfortunately, just came in with probably a little bit too much speed there, but heavy contact. So now we jump back live here. Field has caught the pace car, and I believe the beneficiary of this one is going to be, finally I should say now, that 41 of Peter DeBorgia. So I think you'll see, you already see Peter kind of angling himself up here. But this is another question now. What do you do here if you're the leaders? Do you keep the track position? Do you need to maybe put a little bit of fuel in for a green-white checkered? And it looks like it's going to be track position. It's going to be the name of the game for these guys. So looks like nobody's going to jump into pit road here from the leaders on the pit road. So no questions there. We'll see if we'll just kind of confirm to see if Peter is indeed that lucky dog. We should see him jump to the top here and start to swing around. And yeah, there he goes, that 41 car. So he's going to get back on the lead lap. That is going to bring us back to 13 drivers here on the lead lap. Like I said, that just brought Sebastian Marin back in it from about 18 seconds back. Gabe Butler, another even further back from Eric Laurie and Jay Hilliard and company. And like I said, these guys were about 7 seconds from being lapped. Dean Wilkinson, Robert Rock. I mean, this saves a lot of races, or a lot of race cars for a lot of drivers here. So, let's say, looks like, again, no takers here on this pit strategy. So I'm going to step away, get some water, regroup, and then we'll get back here on the one to go. So stay tuned for the most likely wild conclusion. All right, so I'll let the viewers decide if I'm the commentator's curse on this one, or so like I said, I have a feeling there's about 4 unhappy drivers and about 14 very happy drivers in this one. So again, back into the mix now. Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, Peter DeBorgia are all back into the mix here. Cody Nagels is thinking, man, what do I have to do to catch a break here? However, we're going to restart this thing with 4 to go. You're going to have BK Anderson, Cody Nagels. They're going to be teammates. They're going to be lined up together here. The question is, what does the opposition do here? What does the 24 of Everett Lane? He's kind of on his own here. He doesn't really have any formal associates here to work with there. We mentioned Dan Harrington. He's kind of teamed up with the Boot Knockers. Do we see Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler? Do they try to do something? Eric Laurie's right there as well. And then you go back, there's the TW drivers. You got Dean Wilkinson, Robert Rock. They're right together as well. Again, their goal, I think, they want to try to break up the guys up front here. If they can make it where one of the playoff guys doesn't win, that's in their favor for Todd Siebels. So we'll see. We've got 4 to go here at the line. Looks like they wait for that green flag to fly, and they are down and away. We'll see. Do we get to green on charger? Can we get to that white flag without anything kicking off? And at that point, as we talked about, once you get that white flag, all bets are off. It's just who can get to the finish line first, within reason, of course. Say there's definitely no going below the yellow line, passing like that. But other than that, I say just as long as it's kind of done fairly and appropriately, yeah, so that's pretty much what everybody's looking for here. So right now, BK Anderson's just got the nose ahead, but here comes his teammate. He's got the push he needs from Dan Harrington. He's going to get alongside that number 32 as they hit turn number 3. As man, Everett Lane is just pushing and shoving that 32 car. Like I said, the 06, so he wants to stay as tight as he can here. Does not want to let that 24 get to his outside. He wants to make that 24 stay into that inside line. And I say another question they said is, what does Dan Harrington do here? 3 to go. Haven't seen the third lane form yet, but just give it a little bit here. I think at some point, I think we're going to see Gabe Butler probably. Maybe we see Gabe and Dan Harrington. Do they leave that 06 out to dry in that third lane? And I say, but right now, the 24, the 23, the 071, to me, they're kind of trapped where they are here. So we'll see what we've got left in this one. Jay Hilliard, he could play a role in the TW in that outside line. He's got a teammate right behind him as well. But I think I say, we got one guy here. They're trying to catch which TW driver that is. I think that is Todd Siebels. He's going to make a move here. Again, Todd, I believe, is a lap or more down. So maybe we're going to try to push a teammate forward here. As we're going to cross line here, going to be 2 to go right now. Cody Nagels just a nose ahead at the line. It was thousandths of a second between he and BK Anderson. So if they can go one more lap from here on, it will be an official race. However, if something happens between here and the start-finish line, they will rack it up and do it up to 3 attempts. So we'll see what we got here as we come to off of 2 down the backstretch here for potentially the second to last time. But there he goes. Everybody's moving around. The one, Gabe Butler, he's picked up. He's jumping onto the top, getting help from Jay Hilliard. It's all starting to kick off. Everybody's going to start to squeeze and saying Daytona again. It's a very tight squeeze here. You can run 3 wide, but it's not the easiest to do. And so far, they're making it work here. But right now, like I said, there's a lot of movement. Gabe's going to try to be aggressive. He's going to work that third lane. Cody Nagels, he's going to stay in the middle. And we are going to get the white flag. Dan Harrington pushing that middle lane. Gabe has just a nose ahead at the line. 32 BK Anderson. He's lost the momentum he needs on the inside line. But here they come once more. They're kind of regroup here as we get, contact between the 32 and the 06. 06 in the wall. Big wreck off of turn number 1 and 2. 06 around BK Anderson. He gets through it. White flag was out. So from here, they just race it to the finish. And, heartbreaker for Cody Nagels. BK Anderson right now looks like he's got pretty much clear sailing ahead of him as he's got just clean air. 23, he's got no help behind him. It's going to be a race possibly for third here with Dean Wilkinson, Eric Laurie. Does Dean make a late move around the 071? But here comes at the line. BK Anderson's going to be, I think, a bittersweet one for BK, but he is going to get the win here tonight at Daytona. Sebastian Marin is going to come through the chaos to bring third. Eric Laurie is going to grab that 4th spot with the push from Dean Wilkinson. And then the charge back to 5th position. You see Robert DuPont here. He's going to find a way to get that top 5. Peter DeBorgia gets through. He's going to finish in 6th. And unfortunately, some of these other drivers not getting through as well. Jay Hilliard just trying to smoke that car and get it to the back. Gabe Butler kind of the same boat as well. Robert Rock actually just gets around him at the end there. Let's go back. We'll take a look at that incident here that after the white flag had come out, but definitely heartbreak for some of those guys in the thick of it here. So let's go back. Let's pick up that white flag, and we'll take one more look at it here. So let's go on back here. So we're going to pick it up with BK. You see BK on the inside in that 32 pink car. Saying you'll see his teammate Cody Nagels in that 06 on the outside, and I should say in the middle lane. And then it's everybody's, again, they're kind of pinching and squeezing. And then we'll see the contact here through turns 1 and 2. And right there, oh, it's actually, I think, a little bit of contact between Dan Harrington, I believe, and BK Anderson, which kind of then pulled BK into Cody Nagels, unfortunately. And then from there on back, you see just everybody just trying to find their way through. We'll look at the back of BK Anderson. See Sebastian Marin and say I see him kind of week in, week out. He kind of just drifts around the track in practice sometimes, and I think that drifting came into play once more that allowed him to sneak through. And then you see where Eric Laurie was able to just peek on by there as well. So, like I said, I mean, and there in the background, there's the heartbreak, though, for the 06 car of Cody Nagels. Was pretty much in the top 3 coming to the white. Same for the one of Gabe Butler in the background. It's definitely one of those what might have been for some of these guys. So definitely a heartbreaker for a couple of those guys. But yeah, so definitely gonna be a happy mom here tonight as I see Michelle chiming in as well. So I'll say let's get to the good stuff here, huh? And I'll say let's start talking to some of those drivers here. We're gonna kick it off with our 3rd place finisher, and that is going to be Eric Laurie in that 071. So we're going to bring Eric on in here tonight. All right, Eric, grabbed the 3rd position here, but man, I don't, as I was mentioning, I don't know if it's a full moon tonight or what was going on, but I mean, I think it's probably one of the craziest craziest races we had just overall in the get-go. But then for a playoff race as well, I mean, it pretty much wasn't a championship contender for that first half of the race that didn't have something go wrong. I say, unfortunately, you look like you maybe had a little bit of too much rear brake on one of your pit stops there. You looped it around, you lost the main pack, but able to kind of regroup, grab some people, and stay on that lead lap. And then you got that break you needed with about 10 to go there with that caution coming out. I mean, take us through the race. I mean, obviously a lot of your teammates had some issues as well at one point or another. I mean, how crazy was it for you behind the wheel, just everything happening?
Oh, first of all, this whole race was crazy, but with that caution, that really, not the caution, but the pit stop, that really set me back quite a ways. And all you can do is just try to hope for the best and see if you can keep on the lead lap. And luckily we did, and with the push and with the help from the guys there. I hate to see the caution come out, but it was a help.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's one of those things that sometimes it helps, sometimes it hurts. And I was saying this time, obviously, a big break for you and Sebastian and Gabe and them. And of course, then that last lap wreck there at the very end. You and Sebastian just able to kind of sneak through it there at the end. And we're watching you, and then you see Dean Wilkinson. He comes up with a big head of steam. I mean, were you watching him just expecting him to kind of jump out and sneak around you, or did he say anything like on the radio, say, "Hey, I'm just going to stay put and push you"? I mean, what was that last part too, where you're just kind of watching, like, okay, do I get this top 3 or am I going to drop back one more spot?
Well, looking back in the mirror, I thought he was going to come right around me, but he pulled in behind me and give me a push around. I really appreciate it. Thanks again, Dean.
Yeah, so that's again the sportsmanship we see from these guys. I mean, but so then yeah, so not to harp on it, but to cycle back to that pit stop, was it just maybe a situation of too much rear brake, or does it look like, I mean, it cut out some of the big hitters too? I mean, Sebastian, he had pretty much almost identical situation where he just maybe got in a little bit too hot and just looked like the rear brakes kind of just grabbed and looped around there. Was that something that maybe, was it just an adjustment that maybe you had that wasn't happy with it tonight, or was maybe a setup change? I mean, does it seem like usually you guys are just so dialed in on the pit stops? I mean, was it just maybe just the added kind of pressure, I guess you could say, of the playoffs with that?
I use the same brake pressure valve I always use, but I think it's the added pressure of trying to get in, get the pit, make it right, putting a lot of tension on everybody, getting it right, coming in and out of the pits.
It was, like I said, it was a wild one. There was a lot that was happening tonight, but like I said, you were able to take advantage of like I said, get that break you needed there with the with a caution coming out, you made the most of it, able to get through that big wreck on that white flag. So I mean, great job tonight, Eric. Like you said, you just got to kind of stick with it, and you did, and then saying definitely was you were rewarded with that top 3 tonight. So saying I believe you're going to be the second highest playoff finisher there behind Sebastian, but I mean, like I said, the way tonight was going, I think to bring home a top 3, top 5 is probably going to be a win for a lot of our playoff contenders here tonight. So definitely want to give you the floor, though, for any thanks and shouts for that podium finish tonight.
Well, I'd like to give a shout out to you guys for doing what you do. I really appreciate it. Real thanks to Area 51, what they do, and to put up all these races and have a lot of fun doing it. And shout out to the guys in the team. Thank you, guys.
All right, well, so you got through one pretty cleanly. Like I said, you got an off week next week for the 4th of July, so say definitely say have a happy and safe 4th, though, Eric, and look forward to seeing what you got for these guys the rest of the 3 races in this playoff, man. So great job kicking off, and look forward to see what you got the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's switch over to our runner-up in that number 23 of Sebastian Marin. So we kind of talk and mention a little bit and saying, obviously, I mean, Sebastian, I kind of give you a hard time where it's like every practice I see you kind of at some point just drifting through the apron and doing all this stuff to kind of maybe just kind of hone in your car control. But I mean, there might be a reason for it. I mean, I think it came in tonight because I mean that thing, you were in the middle of that craziness there at the end, but you're able to keep the car pointed in the right direction. I mean, I've seen a couple times in practice. I thought I'd be like, okay, that car's toast, and then somehow you hang on to it. And I mean, it definitely came to fruition tonight. You were able to hang on to that car, and it was enough to bring you a runner-up finish tonight with, say, kind of one of the, like I said, I mean, I think pretty much everybody in the playoffs had something go wrong. And I was saying again, not to kind of throw you under the bus, but I say you're kind of Mr. Pit Stop, and even that one got you tonight as well, among with some others tonight. So it was definitely a kind of an odd one tonight. A lot of little miscues and stuff that just completely shook up the field. And it was, I say, without that last yellow there, it was definitely a very interesting top 5, top 10 in the points.
Yeah, it was an odd one, first with the field being a tiny bit smaller and then having those early yellows kind of got a lot of probably a lot of cars with damage early, and maybe they had used their fast repair already or they just didn't want to. So there was a lot of cars already a lap down, and we were just like a quarter way through. Yeah, I mean the race was going well, pitted. I didn't take tires at any stop, so that one time that I did get sideways, I lock up the front tires a lot, so I tend to move the bias a lot to the rear with these things. But tonight I was like, oh, I'll leave it relatively towards the front, and I was locking the rears a lot more than I expected. It probably didn't help that I didn't take tires at all the entire race. So when I sent it in, I started wheel hopping, and I had it, and then I think my right rear barely clipped the grass, and then that was it. I think the race was relatively clean, relatively quiet. I was running this old paint scheme of my buddy and friend ex teammate Zachary, who hopefully we'll see him back soon. So I was just running this for fun. And Zach Cody was running Steve's. He's also ex teammate, good friend, and we were just having a lot of fun. I was working with them tonight, just trying something different, having a little bit of fun. And it's kind of funny because I always gave Zach a lot of, he was really good in the pits as well, but he would always seem to get penalties. So I don't know if this paint scheme is cursed because I hadn't gotten a penalty in a long time, and tonight I just made a mistake. So I don't know, maybe this paint scheme's cursed, but it was a lot of fun. That ending, man, I kind of wish that the end of the race would have gone green because it would have been really interesting. Obviously, the bottom checked up, but then they had a huge run, which I think could have, done something. And then the third lane was side by side with the middle. So I think it was going to be a really interesting end to the race. And yeah, the unfortunate wreck, which I believe there was a little bit of net code. So it's a shame that happened. Yeah, my car control came into it a little bit. I kind of just held the wheel straight and just hoped that the apron would catch me because the apron it can grab you and spin you out, but it can also save you if you know what you're doing. So kind of just held the wheel straight. It caught it, saved itself, and everybody behind was wrecked. So I just cruised home to second place victory. And congrats to BK. He's he was long overdue to getting another win.
I made it. Can y'all hear me great?
I gotcha. It sounds like someone's on their phone.
And I had a little adventure over here. I do apologize. The weather here in Knoxville is not the greatest right now, as you can tell. Over in Nashville, the race was going on. Hey, Sebastian.
Yes,
that's
sir.
a nice little finish there. I saw the end. Too bad I couldn't commentate it. That was a little hectic finish there, but it is what it is, there, brother.
Yeah, like you said, interesting finish. Luckily, I didn't get taken out and came home second.
Well, so I guess I got to take some of the credit away from you, as you're saying. It sounds like the car just saved itself. So we'll give props to that car.
Whoa, okay.
Boom. I kind of want to get to our winner here because we done talked to you enough. Been up here because I know, dude.
You want me out of here? All right, let's get it.
Keep out of here.
We can't.
But seriously, it was a great finish for you in second place. Would you like to do some thank yous and shouts to?
Yeah, of course. Give a shout out to the bootleggers. I wasn't with them tonight because I was just having a little bit of fun with Cody and BK. We were running these paints to just say, to remember Zach and Steve, which I believe they'll be back soon. So hopefully they'll be back on track very soon. So just running this for Steve because his birthday is in about 3 hours, at midnight or whatever that is. So
yeah,
this was for him. So yeah, and then I'll thank Cody, BK, having a good time tonight, just racing with them. And thank you guys for putting on this league and Area 51. Apologies, I got that mixed up. I want to thank you guys for the broadcast, and I want to thank Area 51 for the league. There we go. I got it this time.
Yeah, he's got it. But unfortunately, I was like half the race here, but full credit goes to Kyle, really.
Nah, full credit goes to the racers for putting on a wild one tonight. So yeah, great job though, Sebastian. Like I said, able to keep that car in one piece and get it through to the end. Like I said, our top finisher on our playoff drivers as well. So that's going to be good going into not next week, but in 2 weeks, I should say, next week off for the 4th. But yeah, great job tonight, man. And definitely look forward to see what you got for the rest of the season. So good luck, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Matt. I think I heard there's some certain driver you want to talk to that I think won the race, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if it's gonna be. We'll have to see here. I'm not sure who's gonna want to interview BK more or get an interview with BK more. Is that gonna be you or is that gonna be BK's mom? So, because I say she's on YouTube, she's celebrating, and man, BK. I was gonna say you're gonna have to make some phone calls here after tonight, after we're done here, if she's not already calling you. But man, I mean, what a race there! I say just every pit stop, it kind of broke a few drivers away. You got you had yourself, you had your teammate there of Cody, and then you unfortunately down a couple laps. But Vicente, you guys are all lined up on the inside for a little while. Say things are looking good there, and then of course then kind of the decision to kind of split the 2 lanes between you and Cody there. And then of course that late yellow, and I mean I'm guessing that's one of those ones for you guys where it's just the 4 of you going for the win there, and I'm guessing that's one of those heart drop feelings there at the end.
Yeah, I kind of saw the mess happening in the mirror, and somebody had bounced off my bumper. I'm not really sure what happened. I think I got hit in the quarter panel too, but it sort of canceled out, and I was going straight, and people were sideways back there, and you don't ever really want to win like that, but hey. Sometimes sometimes that happens. That's plain racing.
Yeah, I mean we've seen it happen before. So, and then also before that, then of course that maybe I think it was around 8 to go or so. That late yellow when like I said, it looks like it's a 4 horse race to the win there for I think it was you and the 24, the 06 and the 82. I mean, what's your feeling there when you're like, okay, it's gonna be between the 4 of us. We got like 18 seconds on 5th and 30 seconds on the next group. I mean, so obviously everything going right there, but what's the emotions there when you see that late yellow come out where it's like, oh great, we just brought 10 more people back into this?
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. It's like an excited, frustrated feeling because you're like, okay, now it's a race again. I mean, like it's a little bit more to worry about, but it brings everybody back together. I mean, sometimes you want to run away, but hey, sometimes that yellow rears its ugly head, and then you got to do it again. So I got to run away from the field twice. The second time was instant.
Yeah, and I say that's true. I mean, I say when you win these races, say you kind of want to beat them kind of heads up versus like, oh yeah, I won, but they'll be like, oh yeah, but there's only 4 of you in that late pack at the end. It's like, well, I mean,
Right.
you nailed your pit stops, and I mean, say you have to do a lot of things right to get into that position, obviously too. But and I say, and I think honestly, probably a popular win as well among a lot of the playoff drivers because you prevent extra bonus points for Sebastian Marin, Eric Laurie, say because a lot of those guys were right into the thick of it there at the end, of course, with that yellow coming out and bringing everybody back into it. I say, like, and of course, like, unfortunately, your teammate probably a little bit of a heartbreak for Cody, of course, being kind of caught up in there when he was in a good spot, but. I think for a lot of the playoff guys, again, a lot of playoff drivers with some tough nights tonight as well. I mean, how do you balance that as well? Where it's like, of course, I mean, you want to get the best result you can for yourself and for your teammates, I'm sure, but in the grand scheme of things, I mean, say us drivers, let's say we're usually pretty selfish. If we get a chance to win here, we're going to try to get those wins. I mean, how do you kind of balance that with the playoffs and all that, and then just getting your own results and your own wins?
Definitely came in with the mindset tonight. I had no desire to win. I was there to push Vicente and push on Cody, push on Seabass. So I didn't really mean to make it where I was when the wrecks happened, but when the late yellow happened, it sort of bunched everything back up. And then the last wreck, I'll still have to go back on film and see what actually caused that chain reaction. I'm hearing a little bit of netcode too, but. Yeah, sorry, Cody. I was really wanting to finish 1-2, 2-1, but we'll get him next week.
Yeah, that's the nature of the beast of these play races. So, say before we let you go and celebrate with your teammates, though, I know you've got at least one big shout out that you're gonna have to give, like I said, because you've got a really happy supporter on YouTube. So, definitely want to give you the floor though for anybody that kind of helps you got here, and then just for the win here tonight.
Thanks for watching, Bob. Got this done.
There you go. You only get one mom, BK.
That's absolutely true. Love her to death. She's an amazing woman. But shout out to Dad too. He's watching. Mom just types for him, so he's there watching too. But shout out to you guys for broadcasting Area 51 for throwing up the league. They couldn't do it without them and all the drivers. That we're here week in and week out. Eating up weekend evenings during the summer to hang out, compete, and have fun. So.
Yeah, well done tonight, BK. Like I said, got the win. So yeah, we have to make some phone calls and talk to the happy mom and dad afterwards. So yeah, definitely just shout out, man. Just great job tonight. Yeah, it's always fun to have family watching, supporting. So really cool to see from yours. I say if you're here, she's here. She's even been here a couple races. Hey, where's BK? I'm like, that's a good question. I don't know where BK is. So we give her a hard time to kind of hound you down too. Like, hey, get him back on track. So. But great job tonight, man, and looking forward to grab a couple more wins against these playoff guys in these remaining 3 races.
Right on. Let's sneak in there next week. We'll see what happens.
All right, man, I'll let you go enjoy it. So go celebrate, and we will chat with you hopefully again here soon. So congrats again, BK.
Take care, y'all.
All right, so that is our race winner in that number 32 of BK Anderson. So I think Cody's going to take credit for the win because he's got that IROC paint scheme on. So a couple hiccups on the paint there. So we'll get that cleared up for next week there. But yeah, so I mean that's all it took. I think just needed that IROC paint scheme, and he's able to bring that pink True Value car to victory lane here tonight, Matt. And so I got to thank you for the dedication to, I say you're hopping on Discord on your phone here to be able to chat with me and pull some interviews at the end. So yeah, hopefully your power comes back soon. Hopefully everything's going okay over there. So definitely for you, keep safe though. And yeah, like I said, I just appreciate all your help, Matt. I say it was definitely a crazy one here time. I mean, I say while you were here, I mean, we saw crazy. Over half the playoff contenders had some sort of hiccup here, and then towards the latter half, I would say we added about 2 more other drivers there with the 23, and then that caution just brought everybody back into the mix there for the most part. So, yeah, definitely a wild one this evening.
Yeah, it's really gonna shake up the standings when they do post I'll be interested to see. There's going to be a lot of shakeup, and a lot of people who's going to be desperate to catch back up because of the mistakes, and it's going to happen. But we'll see what these drivers do for the next race.
Yeah, so definitely going to be some recovery drives for those final 3 playoff races for sure, but I'll say one that doesn't have to worry about any of that's going to be that race winner in that 32 of BK Anderson. So again, big congrats to him getting the win here tonight at Daytona. Again, we will be off next week on Sunday for the 4th of July weekend, so we will not be broadcasting. They'll be able to enjoy some time with friends and family and loved ones. Like I said, I just want to make sure everybody comes back with the same amount of fingers and toes that they started the weekend with, so stay safe there, everybody. However, we will be back tomorrow night for race number 2 of the playoffs, with the next gen being broadcasted here on Green White Checker TV. Nick Chambrone calling the shots over there. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to him, he is amazing, so definitely get on that. We've got 8 drivers going for that one as well. And then we'll be back, of course, on Tuesday for the IndyCars. And then I believe the weekend starts on Thursday. I think we take a break over there on Thursday as well. So, and that'll bring us back to the following week. So, we'll stay tuned. I'll say YouTube will show you when the races are. So again, want to thank you all for watching, for supporting us here at Green White Checker TV. Again, want to definitely congratulate BK on the win. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, had a great weekend. And we will chat with all of you soon, I hope. So stay safe, take care, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.